Hey folks, so this video is about beadboard backsplash. I just finished putting up this backsplash in my kitchen, and I just wanted to share a few tips about how I did it compared to what I saw online. I did things a little bit differently than what I commonly seen done, and because of that, I felt it might be useful to others. So here it goes. What I ended up doing was I installed trim at the top and at the bottom around the beadboard, as well as on the side here. And the reason I did that is because my countertop stands proud of the cabinets. Unlike other kitchens you see where they have cabinets that span a whole wall, and it's really convenient to terminate the beadboard against a wall. You don't really have much of a, you don't have anything hanging out there. So I used this decorative trim to go all the way along the side and along the top, all the way around the beadboard to give it something to join with, as well as on the bottom. And I did the bottom because I didn't want to take out this big piece of stone. A lot of people I saw doing their backsplashes would take out whatever this kind of mini backsplash that comes with most countertops. They would take that out and run the beadboard all the way down to the counter. I didn't want to do that because if you have kind of a natural stone or like a granite or quartz, this stuff is expensive, and you may want to remove this backsplash and do it. And then I just wanted to work with what was there, so I felt like I needed a piece of transitional trim here. My wall isn't flat, so I have some waviness to it that you used to be able to see because there used to be a gap here between this and the drywall. So this helps give the beadboard something to join with evenly, and also conceal the unevenness of the wall. So I did that. I think it came out pretty good. I wasn't looking for total perfection, but I think as far as giving the beadboard something to join with, it came out okay. Another thing I saw people doing was doing crazy like trigonometry and geometry and all sorts of crazy stuff to meet this tapered edge of the window apron. I didn't do that. I just did a straight cut and a notch and then it straight down. And all I did was caulk here, and you really can't, this really doesn't look terrible. It's not something that your eye is drawn to, so you can do some cuts to slide this in here more perfectly, but I would say don't feel like you have to. If you're if you got some caulking laying around, like, you can do it like that, and I think it came out okay. One other tip is when you notch out for your electrical panels, go a little bit larger than the electrical box, because I measured it exactly to the size, and then I had to come back and notch it out a little bit more just to get the outlet extenders in, and it was kind of a pain in the butt. So I would say notch a little bit bigger there. I think that's about it. I'm pretty happy with how this came out. I ended up using a nailer to help fasten all the stuff in, and just use as little adhesive as possible. I didn't use any adhesive for the beadboard or for the trim. The only place I used adhesive were in places where I had literally nothing to nail into but drywall. So for some of these floating pieces, just a little bit of a couple dabs of Loctite to hold it on there, and then obviously everything's caulked and painted, so it should all be pretty well secure, but very little adhesive in case I ever want to take this off and do something else. and as long as, you know, if you have outlets, you're gonna be nailing this thing, you know, pretty securely. For seams, I had, I don't know if you can see, I have one seam right here, and you can't see it at all. I would just say when you plan for your seam, the beadboard comes factory cut with ready to be joined with itself. So, you know, here, right, so this is the seam right here where my finger is, and this is a factory edge right here, and this is a factory edge right here. I would say make your cuts make your cuts so that you're working with factory edges, because they're made to join with each other, and they're going to go together much better than if you try to cut it yourself to make this bead join with this bevel, and then you just put them up to each other and caulk it. So that's how I did it, and you can't even see the seam. You'd never know it was there. So that's my only tip about working with seams, is just try to use the factory edges where you can. And any edge that you cut, terminate with a piece of trim or something like that, so you don't have to see it. The other thing about cutting this stuff is when you cut it, when you lay it down, cut it with the painted side down. Don't cut it face up. If you cut it face up, you're gonna chip it. And I made that mistake a couple times. Like right here, you can see it's chipped, it's a little rough. I was in a rush doing some of these. If you cut it face up, you're gonna gnarly up the edges. So cut it face down, and then you'll get nice smooth edges for all your cuts. If you have to cut it face up, like if you're notching for some reason, or you're just in a position where you need to cut it face up, score with a utility knife where you're gonna cut. So like if you're using a jigsaw in here, score your area. But that's it. I hope this helps give you an idea of what it looks like to use beadboard with some trim. The process, again, you know, go out and you don't need a nail gun. You can use, you know, just a hammer and nails, but I do recommend getting a nail gun for this. It makes it a lot easier, especially if you're trying to nail up here in tight corners. But you could definitely pull it off with just a hammer and some finished nails of your own. So that's it. I think it came out pretty good. I hope this helps.